Hey, what's up everybody? This is Muth24, and this is the second part of my review of the Evangelion Unit 5 mass production type high-grade model. In this part, I'm going to take a look at the posability of the kit, the weapons and accessories, and give my final thoughts on it. Now, one really cool thing with the Evangelion kits is when you're constructing the Eva Unit 1 and the Eva Unit 2 and Eva Unit 0, is they have this really cool mechanism for the arms where there's actually a joint pre-constructed inside of it. So you have this sort of flexible looking almost skin-like deal with the arms there, so that like the joints will move inside and this will remain consistent with that, and you can do all sorts of different posing with it. With the Evangelion Unit 5, there's no joint in the arm. It's all hard plastic, so you can move it at the shoulder there, but you can't bend the arm at all. There is another version of the Evangelion Unit 5 that's called the final version. This limited model high grade is really hard to find nowadays, and that final version is even more difficult. I've seen it once or twice on eBay, and they were kits that were not taken care of so well, so I really don't want to gamble my chances with it, where the boxes were pretty well beat up. But if you can find it, I can almost guarantee it's going to be relatively expensive to pick up that one. Even this one's a little bit difficult to come by nowadays. So as for the rest of the posability on this kit, it's actually pretty decent. The arms, because they're constructed differently, it's just a single socket here, and then you've got this hinge there instead of the forward and backward and then the ball joint on the other Eva kits. So you can get them to go up about that far, back about that far, and really, I mean, if you bring it out, you can get him to rotate it 360 no problem. It just might come off the peg a little bit easier, but it's easy enough to put back on. You can get him to raise it up about that far normally, and you know, it can go flush down with his body there. The head, because it's on a hinge and a ball joint, you can get it to go back and forth, and this will move as well to accommodate for, you know, him having the head up higher or down lower. And then you can also get it to move side to side a little bit, which is kind of nice, because then it can look like he's like looking around a corner or something like that. As for the torso, you can get these two joints here to rock back and forth. He can go quite a ways over. He can go back up like that, can crouch down like that, and then it can also turn a little ways as well. So you can get some pretty dynamic poses with these kits, even though this one doesn't have nearly as much posability as the other main Evangelion units. The legs can go up about that far, can go back about that far, can go out to the side about that far, and can bend at the knee almost 180, not quite. It's just the construction with these legs limits it a little bit, but I still say that's pretty good for a kit as old as this. And then the knee joint, or the knee armor, can go up and down, no problem. The foot can go back and forth like that. The ankle armor here can wiggle a little bit. The toe can go up and down a bit, and then the whole foot can rock side to side. So even though it isn't as impressive with the posability as the other kits, you still get some decent mobility out of this Evangelion Unit 5. Now, if you want to, you do have another head that comes with the kit, and I went ahead and painted this one up as well, even though I don't plan to use it that much. But with this one, it's more for when he's standing upright, and if you just pop it off easy enough, you can put this one in, and it's sort of a creepy, evil-looking face if you want him crouched down a little bit more. It's like the one that was rising out of the water when Asuka was fighting all the mass-produced Evas by herself. So, kind of cool, kind of creepy looking, if you want that head instead. As his primary weapon, you do get this big sword, and this comes molded in white as well, so I had to go ahead and paint both the black and the gray onto this. It is really big and pretty heavy, and he doesn't hold on to it all that well, just because these arms with the open palms, or the hands with the open palms, sorry, don't really wrap around it all that much, and the ones with the closed palms are too small to hold on to it. If you want him having it just, you know, down like that, it's not that big of a deal, but if you have him try and pick it up and, like, put it in a pose where he's trying to, you know, swing it around or whatever, one, the arms aren't really going to allow for him to move that far out to hold it, and two, it's so heavy that he's probably just going to fall over when he's doing it. I even tried it when he had his wings attached, and he just kind of like fell backwards, or sorry, fell forwards a little bit, even though there was weight to kind of balance it to, and it really just has to do with how far his arms can reach. So if you want him, you know, posing with it down like that, not so big of a deal, but if you try and get it up in the air, it's not going to work too well, I'm afraid. Now, you might have noticed earlier when I had him spinning around and I was comparing him to the Eva Unit 1 that he has these little joints here on the back, and that's not normally how they're supposed to be when he doesn't have his wings on. Normally you're supposed to use these two pieces, and they'll cover that up and make it look more natural. The problem is that once you get these ball joints in, they're pretty much stuck, and if you try and pull them out, there's a good chance you're going to break them just because of the way that the peg that goes in there is designed. Now, it is kind of nice that they do have these ridges along the side there to allow the wings to slide off, because then that way you don't have to worry about pulling the whole thing out and breaking the wings or something. But if you were hoping to have him without his wings, do know that you should probably put these on first and just not monkey around with those when you're constructing the kit. When you are ready to attach the wings, you're just going to have to pull this piece out here, and it does help that this little bit sticks out a bit there that you can grab onto it. And then that hole in the back, the little polycap piece there, is going to take this peg into it. So just set that there. And when you put the wings on, he will become a little bit back heavy, but the fact that this touches the surface of whatever you're setting him on does kind of act as a little stand. So that's kind of nice. I don't know if it was deliberate or not, but it works well enough with the kit. And then you're going to get these two massive wings, and you're going to see how huge they are once I put this thing on. But basically, you're just going to take each one and slide it in, and then these little pegs here, if you want to lock it into place, can just slide into there. And this is what he looks like with his wings attached. I think he just looks absolutely beastly and just so cool. The one thing that you might notice is that I do have his knees bent there a little bit, and that's just to help the wings kind of stay in place. If you have them standing up too straight, they kind of tend to tilt one way or the other, and then it'll just kind of fall over. But if you have his knees bent a little bit, it shouldn't be a problem. I've really not had that much of an issue with him just sitting on my shelf for, you know, quite a long period. And just to give you an idea of how long these wings really are, I got the Eva Unit 1 back. Basically, any given one of either one of his wings is the length of the Eva Unit 1 almost. They're really that big. It's pretty impressive just putting him on the shelf and seeing how much he stands out there. Because you add those wings on it, it's just all of a sudden he's that much more appealing standing there compared to when he was without. So I really do think that these wings go a long ways, and they design them really well. They look pretty sharp. Again, it's a matter of how much time you want to put into this kit if you want to get it, but if you're a really big Evangelion fan, I would highly recommend this kit, assuming you can find it for a decent price. If someone's asking a ridiculous amount of money for it, and you're kind of iffy on the joints and stuff and not having as much poseability, then that could be, you know, a major factor for you. But if you really like the design of the Eva Unit 5s and you really love the End of Evangelion movie, then I'd say go ahead and get this kit if you can. And just to show them off, you do get two figures with this kit, one of Kaji and one of Asuka in her summer dress. I have not bothered to paint them yet. I will get around to that at some point because I've painted all the other figures from these kits. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this review, and with that, I will see you guys next time.